Picture this. A woman named Carol just turned 66. She's sitting at her kitchen table, going through her mail like she does every month. Property tax bill, Medicare premium notice, the electric bill, the usual stack. She's about to pay all of it, the same way she has for the last 30 years. But this year, something's different. A neighbor mentioned that she's been getting a discount on her property taxes for the last 2 years. Carol had no idea that discount existed. She'd been paying full price the whole time, money she didn't have to spend. That's the situation a lot of people are in right now. Not because they're careless, because nobody tells you these programs exist. There's no letter that shows up saying, hey, you might qualify for this. You have to know to ask. So today, we're going to go through 5 bills where people 65 and older may be able to reduce what they owe, in some cases down to nothing, through real, existing programs, not loopholes, not rumors, actual state and federal programs that have been around for years, sitting quietly in the background while most people just keep paying full price. Why this matters right now. Here's the thing about turning 65. It's the age where several separate systems, property tax law, Medicare, utility assistance, and more, all start treating you differently. But none of these systems talk to each other, and none of them proactively reach out to tell you what you're eligible for. That means the responsibility falls entirely on you. If you don't apply, you don't get it. There's no automatic enrollment for most of these. You could be eligible for years and never see a dime of savings simply because nobody filled out a form. And the amounts add up. We're not talking about small change. Depending on where you live and your income, some of these programs can save you hundreds or even thousands of dollars a year. Over a decade, that's real money. Money that could go toward groceries, medications, or just staying financially comfortable in retirement. If you ignore this video and do nothing, nothing changes. You keep paying what you've always paid. But if you take 15 minutes to check your eligibility on a few of these, you might find savings you didn't know you were owed. Let's get into it. What you're about to learn. We're going to cover 5 categories where seniors commonly qualify for reduced bills or exemptions. Property taxes, Medicare Part B premiums, federal income tax on Social Security benefits, home energy and utility bills, vehicle registration and DMV fees. For each one, I'll explain what the program actually is, who tends to qualify, and where to check your own eligibility. I want to be upfront with you. None of these are automatic. None of them apply to literally everyone over 65, and the rules vary depending on your state and your income. This isn't a everyone gets this for free video. It's a here's what to go check video. 1. Property tax relief for seniors. Let's start with property taxes, because this is one of the biggest expenses many retirees carry, especially if you own your home outright. Here's what a lot of people don't realize. Most states offer some form of property tax relief specifically for older homeowners. These programs go by different names: senior exemptions, homestead exemptions, tax freezes, or circuit breaker programs, but they all do roughly the same thing. They either reduce the taxable value of your home, freeze your tax rate so it doesn't climb with rising home values, or in some cases significantly reduce or defer what you owe. Imagine you bought your home decades ago for a fraction of what it's worth today. Your property value has gone up, and so has your tax bill, even though your income hasn't grown the same way. That's exactly the situation these programs are designed to address. They exist because lawmakers recognized that rising home values shouldn't force retirees out of homes they've lived in for years. Now here's the important caveat. These programs are run at the state and sometimes county level, not federally. That means the age requirement, income limits, and the amount of relief all differ depending on where you live. Some states set the qualifying age at 65. Others use different thresholds. Some require your income to fall below a certain limit, others don't. The practical next step here is simple. Contact your county tax assessor's office or check your state's Department of Revenue website and ask specifically about senior property tax exemptions or freezes. Don't assume you don't qualify. A lot of homeowners assume this doesn't apply to them and never actually check. There's another part many people overlook. Some states also offer property tax deferral programs, where you can postpone paying property taxes until the home is sold, rather than paying annually. That's a different tool from an exemption, but worth asking about in the same conversation. 2. Help with Medicare Part B premiums. That brings us to something equally important: Medicare costs. Most people know that Medicare Part B comes with a monthly premium. What fewer people know is that there are federal programs called Medicare Savings Programs that can help pay that premium, and in some cases also help with deductibles and coinsurance. There are a few tiers of these programs, and which one you qualify for depends on your income and resources. Some cover the full Part B premium. Others help with a portion of it. There's also a separate program called Extra Help, which specifically assists with prescription drug costs under Medicare Part D. Here's why this matters. For someone living on a fixed income, the Part B premium is deducted automatically from your Social Security check every single month, whether you notice it or not. If you qualify for assistance and never apply, you're simply losing that money month after month, year after year. Suppose your income has dropped in retirement. Maybe you're relying mostly on Social Security now instead of a paycheck. That's exactly the kind of situation where you might newly qualify for one of these programs, even if you didn't qualify when you first enrolled in Medicare. The income and resource limits for these programs change periodically, and they vary slightly by state, so I'm not going to guess at specific dollar figures here. What I'll tell you instead is where to check. Your state's Medicaid office handles Medicare Savings Program applications, and Medicare.gov has a section explaining current eligibility guidelines and how to apply. It's worth 10 minutes of your time to see where you stand. 3. Reducing or eliminating federal tax on Social Security benefits. Now let's talk about something that surprises a lot of retirees. Not everyone pays federal income tax on their Social Security benefits. Whether your benefits are taxable and how much of them are taxable depends on your total income from all sources, including any pension, part-time work, or investment income, combined with a portion of your Social Security benefit. If your total income falls below certain thresholds, none of your Social Security benefit is subject to federal income tax at all. Let's say you're retired and living primarily on Social Security, with only a small amount of additional income. In that situation, it's entirely possible that you owe nothing in federal tax on your benefits. But if you're also drawing from a pension, working part-time, or pulling from retirement accounts, a portion of your benefit could become taxable. This is a case where the rules genuinely depend on your personal financial picture, so I want to be careful not to give you a number that doesn't apply to your situation. The IRS publishes a worksheet each year specifically to help you calculate how much of your Social Security is taxable, and it's included in the instructions for Form 1040. If your situation is at all complicated, a tax preparer or the IRS's own online tools can walk you through it accurately. The takeaway here isn't you don't have to pay this, it's check whether you actually owe it, because a meaningful number of retirees don't. 4. Utility and energy bill assistance. There's one important exception to how most people think about utility bills. Many don't realize there's a federal program built specifically to help with heating and cooling costs for people with limited income, including many seniors. It's called LIHEAP, the Low Income Home Energy Assistance Program. It helps eligible households pay for heating in the winter, cooling in the summer, and in some cases even weatherization improvements that reduce your bills long term, like insulation or ceiling drafts. On top of that federal program, many utility companies run their own senior or low-income discount programs directly. These aren't always advertised clearly on your monthly bill. You often have to call and ask specifically whether a senior discount or hardship program exists. Imagine your winter heating bill has been creeping up every year. You assume that's just how it is. But if your income qualifies, a portion of that bill could be covered through LIHEAP, and your utility provider might have an additional discount stacked on top of that. Eligibility for LIHEAP depends on your household income relative to federal poverty guidelines, and it's administered differently in each state, so the application process and specific limits vary. The place to start is your state's LIHEAP office, which you can find through the Department of Health and Human Services website, or simply by calling your utility company and asking what assistance programs they participate in. 5. Vehicle registration and DMV fee discounts. The next point matters if you still drive. Many states offer reduced vehicle registration fees, discounted or free ID renewals, and sometimes reduced driver's license renewal fees for residents over a certain age, often 65. These aren't universal, and the details differ significantly from state to state. Some states offer a flat discount on registration renewal. Others provide free or reduced cost state ID cards for seniors who no longer drive but still need identification. A few states also waive certain licensing fees entirely past a specific age. This one is easy to overlook because vehicle fees feel like a fixed cost nobody questions. But suppose you've been renewing your registration every year at full price without realizing your state quietly offers a senior discount. Over several years, that's money you didn't need to spend. The best way to check is directly through your state's Department of Motor Vehicles website or by calling their office and asking specifically about senior discounts on registration and ID fees. Common misunderstandings to watch out for. Before we wrap up, I want to address a few misunderstandings that tend to spread around topics like this. First, none of these programs are automatic. Nobody is going to mail you a check because you turned 65. You have to apply, and in most cases, you have to reapply periodically to stay enrolled. Second, senior discount doesn't mean free for everyone over 65. Almost every program discussed here has income limits, residency requirements, or other conditions attached. Two people the same age in the same state can have very different eligibility depending on their financial situation. Third, be cautious of anyone, online, over the phone, or at your door, claiming they can get you a bigger discount or faster approval for a fee. These programs are administered by government agencies and utility companies directly, and applying through the official channel doesn't cost anything. What you should do next. Here's the practical part. You don't need to do all 5 of these today. Pick the 1 or 2 that feel most relevant to your situation and start there. If you own your home, call your county tax assessor and ask about senior property tax exemptions. If you're on Medicare, check with your state Medicaid office about Medicare savings programs. If your income has changed in retirement, look at the IRS worksheet for taxable Social Security benefits or ask a tax preparer. If your utility bills are a strain, contact your state's LIHEAP office and your utility provider directly. If you still drive or need an ID, check your state DMV's website for senior discounts. None of these require a lawyer or a complicated process. Most start with a single phone call or a short online form. Turning 65 opens the door to several real, legitimate savings programs, but none of them come to you automatically. Property tax relief, Medicare premium assistance, potential tax savings on Social Security, energy bill assistance, and vehicle fee discounts are all worth checking, even if you're not sure you'll qualify. The rules and dollar amounts vary by state and by your personal income, so the smartest first step is always to verify directly with the official source, your county assessor, Medicare.gov, the IRS, your state's LIHEAP office, or your local DMV, rather than relying on secondhand information. If there's one thing to take from this video, it's this. The savings are out there, but they're not going to find you. You have to go find them. Take 15 minutes this week. Pick one of these 5 areas, make a call, or fill out a form. It costs you nothing to check, and if you qualify, it could mean real, ongoing savings for years to come. If this video helped you understand something you didn't know about before, do me a favor. Hit like, subscribe if you haven't already, and share it with someone in your life who might be paying more than they need to. It might save them more than they realize. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.